Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will show you how to make a completely responsive website using HTML, CSS, Bootstrap and jQuery. So this course is a complete course, unlike my two other courses on YouTube, which are promotional content for my courses on Udemy and Skillshare. So now let's see what we are going to make in this video. So this is a corporate web page that I have created, and you can download this project by clicking on the link in the description of this video. So this project is divided into different sections like the home section, about section, service section, project section and contact section. So in the first section we have a header in which we have logo and nav bar. This is a sticky navigation bar, and when you scroll down, an overlay is added to the nav bar. Then we have the showcase area, this area with the hero image and some content. Next is the about section. Here I have used negative margin to pull this up. And as you see, when I scroll down, you see this animation. So we have this animation on scroll. I've also used font awesome icon in which I've added gradient overlay. You will also learn how to do this. Then we have the team section, and I have this backdrop in this image. And then we have the project section with some bootstrap cards. And then we have the contact section with the map overlay. And finally we have the footer. So there are some special features which I have added. First is this particle effect. Second, I have styled the scroll bar. As you can see in the right side, the scroll bar, the styling, I have done the styling as well. And third, as you can see, we have this animation on scroll effect. So when I scroll, this animation take place. And also I have added scroll spy to our navigation links. So when I scroll down to the appropriate section, you see the underline or the border changes. And also if I click on this about, the page slowly moves to that section. So this is a smooth scrolling effect, and I will show you how to do this. So this is the overall project that we are going to make in this video. I hope you'll like this. So let's start. So first we need to create the folder structure of the project. So I've created a folder called Silicon in my desktop. You can create the folder any way you like. Now inside this folder I'll have some basic files. The first file I'm going to create is called index.html, and then I'm going to create some folders. So assets, for assets like images and for fonts. Then I'm going to create a folder called CSS, then for JS. Now inside the CSS folder I'm going to create a file called style.css. So this is the general folder structure. Now I'll be using Bootstrap and Font Awesome. So I'm going to add these first in the project. So first write the basic structure. So write exclamation mark and press tab. Sometime it does not work, so press tab again. Oh, I'm in the CSS file, that's why it's not working, sorry. In the index.html file, press tab. So this is the basic structure or the boilerplate. Here I'm going to change the title to Silicon, and then I'm going to add Bootstrap and Font Awesome to the project. Open up your favorite browser and search for Bootstrap. So this is the official link, getbootstrap.com. Click here and click on this download button. And now here I'm going to download the compiled CSS and JS file. This one, click download, and Bootstrap will download. Next I'm going to download Font Awesome. So here go to Font Awesome, this website. Now click on this start for free, and click here download Serve Font Awesome yourself. And then we have to click this button, download Font Awesome free for the web. So once the download is complete, extract the file, and in the first I'm going to add the Bootstrap file. So in the Bootstrap folder you will get two folders, CSS and JavaScript. So click here or expand this, and now I'm going to move Bootstrap min.css to a CSS folder, and also I'm going to expand this JS file and be Bootstrap min.js into a JS folder. So we have added Bootstrap. Now let's add Font Awesome. Now I'm inside the Font Awesome folder. Here you need to do two things. First, expand the CSS folder, and then just drag this all.css inside the CSS folder in the project. And next you need to copy this folder web fonts or move this to your asset folder and click on copy folder. So we have the asset and we have the CSS file. Now let's link it up. So back in the index HTML file, first I'm going to link the Bootstrap CSS file. So in the head section, right link, press tab, and in the href we have the CSS folder. We have the Bootstrap file inside the CSS folder. So CSS, then Bootstrap min.css. Then I'm going to add the link for the font awesome. So again link and CSS folder all.css. Now after linking the CSS file, we need to link the JS file. So for Bootstrap we need jQuery. So open up your browser and search for jQuery, or you can go directly to jQuery.com. Here click on this button, download jQuery, and I'm going to get the compressed production code. So click here. Now you can copy this code, press Command A or Control A to go select all, copy this. Now create a new folder in the new file in the JS folder. Let's say jQuery.js, and I'm going to paste the code. Let's save this, and in the index file I'm going to link the script at the very bottom. So script source JS. First I'm going to link jQuery, and then I'm going to link Bootstrap, and after this I'm going to link our own custom JavaScript file, which I'll be using for the particle effect and writing our own jQuery code. So first let me create the file. In the JS folder I'm going to create a new file, and I'll call this app.js. Sorry, I did comma there, app.js. And now right after the Bootstrap I'm going to link it up in the JS folder, app.js. So we have the folder structure and we linked all the file. I'm going to link the particle file and the animate on scroll file, JS file, afterwards, but right now the basic structure is created. And now let's work on the header section of our page. So inside the body tag I'm going to create a header, and inside this I'm going to create the nav tag, and here I'm going to specify some classes to it. So class equal navbar, this is a Bootstrap class, navbar expand md. So our navbar will expand from the medium device and up, and I'll also give it a class fixed top to make it sticky at the top. Now inside this nav, first I'm going to create a container. I'll show you why I'm creating this container in a bit. Then I'm going to create the brand or the logo. So this will be a href. It will go nowhere, and I'll give it a class navbar brand. This is a Bootstrap class, and now inside this I'll create an h2 and write silicon. So we have the brand, and now I'm going to create the hamburger button, which will show up when you view the web page in a mobile device. So after this this anchor tag, I'm going to create a button, and I will write some classes, specify some classes. So you can use dot to specify class using emmet. So first class will be navbar toggle. This is a Bootstrap class. Type will be button, and after this we need to specify some attributes. These are also required by Bootstrap. So toggle, navbar toggle equal collapse, data target, equal, here I'm going to specify an ID. So I'll write hash nav bar btn. Now inside this button I'll use a span with class hamburger, and I will use font awesome for this. I have this class fa bars. You can check the classes of this icon in the font awesome website. So this is the hamburger icon. Now after this button I'm going to create the actual nav. So I'll go after this button. I'll create a div with a class collapse navbar collapse, and here I'm going to specify the ID navbar btn. So this ID must match with this ID in order for this toggle button to work. So if you click on that toggle button, this whole section, this whole div will expand and collapse. So that's why I've given this property collapse. and navbar collapse. So these are Bootstrap classes, it's not custom classes. Now inside this div, I'm going to create UL with class navbar nav. This is also a Bootstrap class. And now inside the UL, I'll create the li. So li with class nav item. And now inside the li, I'll create a anchor tag with class nav link, and the first one will have the class active. In the href, let's say hash, and here I'll write home. But for our project, we'll adding the scroll spy, so I'm going to specify the name here, so hash home. Now what I'm going to do is just copy this and paste it few times. I'm going to change home to about. Here also I'm going to change this to about. Here service, or you can do one thing in VS Code, press Option Shift and down arrow, so you can duplicate it. Now project, here also project, and finally we have this contact. So now we have written the markup for the navigation or the header section. Let's see this. So I'm using a extension called live server in VS Code. So this extension live server, which launch a development local server with live reloading. So you don't need to refresh the page every time you make changes to your markup. You just need to save it, and that changes or those changes will get automatically reflected in the page using this plugin. So once you install this plugin, just right click on the HTML file and click open with live server. So this is how our navigation looks at the moment. So I want this this link to appear in the right side. So what I can do, I can just give it a class ml margin left auto. So it will push the link to the left, to the right. And now I'm going to tell you why I've used this container. So let me, if I comment this, so if I comment this, first this one and this one. So now our navigation is full width, but I want some margin in the left and the right side. That's why I have added this inside this container. So we have the navigation, but there is one problem why it is showing. Let me check. So here I have misspelled this class navbar toggle. I have to write navbar toggler. So if I save this and let's see, so the hamburger menu is now gone. If I inspect, now I can see this. So we have the navigation section. Now let's style it. So for this project, I'll be using a Google font called Moolish. So first we need to include that. So go to fonts.google.com and here search for Moolish. Initially the name was Mooly, but I don't know, they changed it to Moolish. So this is the font, and I'm going to choose the weight 400 regular version, 700 the bold one, and 900 the black one. And then I can click on this embed link. So you have two options to add the font to your project. You can either use the link or you can import it. For this one I'm going to import this. So I'm going to just copy this, and here I'll paste it at the top of this style.css file. So in case you decide to go for this link option, you need to paste this in the head section. So you need to paste this in this head section here. Now after this, I am going to write some general styling for a page. So first I'm going to use the root pseudo class. So this represents the HTML element. Here I'll set the box sizing to border box. So here I'll set some variable, so blue color, and the RGB, the code will be hash 5C84EC, and then I'll have a pink color. This is for the gradient effect that we are going for. Then hash F03C6D, and finally the paragraph color, this will be hash 707070. Now I'm first going to style the scroll bar As you have seen here in the final project, we have this scroll bar. So I'm going to style it first. So I'm going to target it using what is called WebKit scroll bar. Sorry, I need to write one. Here I'll set the width to 5 pixel, and again WebKit scroll bar thumb. Here I'll set the background to a linear gradient. The color I'm going to use, I'll use the variable var, first blue color and then var this pink color, and I'll give a border radius of 20 pixel. So let's see. Right now the scroll bar will not appear. So what I'm going to do, just to show you, I'll set the body height 200 VH. Let's see now. I have not added the link to a style sheet, that's why it's not working. So I'll write CSS and style.css. Now let's save. So as you can see that we have a we have the scroll bar and we have that gradient effect. So I'm going to remove this, and after this I'll target everything using the universal selector, which is star, then before pseudo element and also after pseudo element. Here I'll set the box sizing to inherit, which is going to inherit this box sizing border box. Now I'll target the body. The font family will be Moolish, so MULISH, Moolish, and the fallback will be sans serif. Background color of the body will be hash F9 FBFF, a light gray color. And after the body, let's style the H1. So font size of the H1 element will be 2.8 rem. So 1 rem equals 16 pixel. So 2.8 into 16 pixel will be the size of the H1 element. So you can also do one thing. If you set the font size, let's say to 62.5% in the root element, 62.5%, so the font size become 10 pixel for each element. And then when you do font size 2.8 rem, so 2.8 into 10 will be 28 pixel. But for this I'm going to go with the 16 pixel default one. After this H1, font weight will be 900, black one, and letter spacing will be 3 pixel. After this I'll target H2. The font size will be 1.75 rem. Font weight will be 700, and then we target the paragraph. The font weight will be 400 regular. The font size 1 rem, so 16 pixel, and the color I'm going to use the paragraph color, this one. After the paragraph I'm going to target the link. The font size will be 1 rem and color will be white. Then I will add some utility classes for the margin. So margin empty 100, I'll write margin top 100 pixel, and empty 70, so margin top 70 pixel. So this is the general styling that we need to add, or this is the basic styling for a page. So before styling the navigation section, let me add the showcase area first, so that it will be easy for you to understand. So after the header I'm going to create the main element, and inside this I'm going to create a section with ID home and a class hero. Now here I'll create a container. This is a bootstrap class, and I will also give it a class h100, so height 100. Again I'm going to create a row h100. Now inside this I'll create a div which will wrap the content. So I'll create a div with a class call, class hero content. This is a custom class. I'll give it a class text center, and now inside this I'll create h1, and here I'll write branding and digital design agency. And after this I'll again create a h2 element, and here I'll write manage your business with us. So let's see how it looks like. See, we have changed the color of a navigation link to white. That's why it's not visible, but it is there. So let's style this. So first I'm going to create a comment, hero section. I'm going to target the hero class. See, we have this hero class, this one. I'll set the height to 100 VH, width 100%. Then background image. In the URL, I'll go to the assets, images. I've already added the images to the project. So we have these 3 images. So in the images folder, I have bg1.png. After this, background size will be cover, and background position will be center. So let's save this and have a look. So we have the image. So here I want to add an overlay so that our image is not that bright. So here I am going to use the linear gradient method. So linear gradient RGBA, and here I'm going to use RGBA value 92, 132, 236, and for the transparency 0.8. Again I'm going to copy this, write a comma and then paste it again. So let's save this. So we have this blue overlay. So after this I'm going to change the color of this heading. So I'll target it. I have this class hero content, this class hero content, and I'm going to change the text color. So color will be white. And now finally I'm going to move this heading at the center of the page. So here I'm going to use Flexbox. So Bootstrap also provide with the Flexbox classes. So I can write dflex, then flex column, then justify content center. This is for horizontal alignment, and align items center. This is for vertical alignment. So if I see now the heading and the content move to the center of the page. So now that we have created the hero section, let's work on the navigation section. So back in the style.css file, here I'm going to begin a comment. So navigation section. Now first I'm going to add some margin. So I'll target the nav item. So nav bar, nav, then nav item. So we have this class navbar nav, and inside this we have this nav item. I'm going to apply some margin to it. So margin top and bottom 0 pixel and right and left 10 pixel. So let's see. So we have the margin. So now let's add that overlay when we scroll. I'm going to do this using jQuery. First I need to declare some classes, which I'm going to explain in detail a little later. So I'll first declare nav sticky add. Here I'll change the background color to RGBA 255, 255, 255, and for the transparency 0.5, or sorry 0.9. After this I'll add a transition all 0.5 second. Next I'll write nav sticky add, nav item, and nav link. Here I'll change the color to RGBA 000 0.7. After this I'll target the nav bar brand. So nav sticky add dot navbar brand. I'll change the color. The color will be the same, so I'm going to copy this and paste it here. So now let me explain this to you. So I'm going to add a class sticky add using jQuery when the user scroll down. So this class, when gets added to the nav, this element nav, these style will get applied to it. So I want, when I scroll down 50 pixel, these classes gets applied to the nav element. So that's why I've written like this, nav.stickyAdd. So there is a difference. If I write like this means sticky add class is going to apply to the nav element. So if I write like this, if I add a space here, this is a descendant selector. So here what the browser is going to select, whatever element which has a sticky add class inside this nav will be selected. But in this case, when they are both together, in this case the sticky add class is applied on this nav. So sticky add will be applied here, sticky add, and this I'm going to do it using jQuery. So when the user scroll down 50 pixel, I'm going to add this class, and when this class is added, all these styles are going to be applied to it. So now inside the app.js file, I'm going to write the jQuery code. So first I'm going to write the ready function, or the shorthand one. So I'll use the $ function. Inside this, I'll target the window on scroll event. I'll pass a callback, and inside this function I'll declare a variable, and I will take the scroll top position. So window dot scroll top. Now I'm going to check if scroll is greater than or equal to 50. This means the user has scrolled down 50 pixel. Now in this case I'm going to select the nav. So nav dot add class, and what I'm going to add is sticky add. After this I'll write else. In here I'm going to just copy this one time, paste it here, and now I'm going to remove the class. So let's see if this works or not. Let's save this, back to a file. Now if I scroll down, see I cannot scroll down because the height is 100 VH. So let me add some element so that we can get the space. So let me create a div. Inside this I'm going to add, let's say lorem 1000. Let's save this. Now if I scroll down, you can see that we have that overlay added to it, and the color of the brand changes to black, and also the links color also changes to black. So in the final project we have this smooth transition, or we have this kind of animation here, but here it's happening abruptly. I want that smooth transition. So for that, what I'm going to do is, back in the index.html file, here I'm going to give it a class stick, and in the CSS file I'm going to write nav.stick transition all 0.5 second. And again in the app.js file, what I'm going to do is, when the user scroll down 50 pixel, I'm going to remove the class stick. Remove class stick. Since at first it is added to the nav, when the user scroll down, I'm going to remove it. Otherwise, I'm going to add the class. So this will add the transition. See, we have that transition. So here, when the sticky add class is added to the nav element, there is a transition. See, when I scroll down 50 pixel, there is a transition of 0.5 second. If I comment this out, there will be no transition, and it is applied abruptly. So this transition is for that, and this transition is for when the class gets removed from it. So this transition is for the last. So when the class is removed, the sticky add class is removed, this transition will get applied. So here one more thing we need to do. If I inspect this page, so here as you can see that we have this hamburger icon in black. When I scroll down, it is fine, but in its original state it is not looking good. I want to change the color. I want the menu to be white. So here what I need to do, when the sticky add class is not applied, I want this menu hamburger icon to be white, and when the sticky add class is applied, I want this to turn to black. So let's do that. So I have added a class called hamburger. So I'm going to select the hamburger using this class. So hamburger, the default color will be white, and I'm going to change the font size to 1.5 rem. So let's save this. So the hamburger icon is now white, but when I scroll down it remains white, but I want it to change to black. So I'll use the same trick. I'll add the class, so hamburger, and let's add when scrolled. So this class will be applied to the hamburger when we scroll down. So here I'm going to change the color to black, so #000. Now in the app.js file, I'll select the hamburger, so write $hamburger. It is a class, so I'll have to put a dot in front. So I'll add a class when scrolled, and when the scroll top value is less than 50, I'm going to remove the class when scrolled. So let's see. See, by default it is white, and when I scroll down 50 pixel, it changes to black. So I hope you understand the logic and the working of the navigation. Now let's work on the about section. So now after the hero section, but inside the main element, I'm going to create a new section with the ID, about ID, and class about class. Sorry, this will. Now inside this section I'm going to create a container. This is a bootstrap container. Now I'm going to create a row, and now I'll create two columns, two equal width column. So in bootstrap you can specify that using the call class. So I'm going to target the large size. Here it will be 6, and I'm going to make the padding x 0. Now inside this div I'll add the image. The source is going to be assets, images, and bg1, and I'm also going to give it a class image fluid, img fluid. So this is a bootstrap class which is used for responsive images. Now inside this row I'm going to create another div with the class call lg6. So these two together makes up the 12 column. Now inside this div, first let me give it a class also. So this is a custom class, so about content. Inside this div I create another div called wrap, and I'll create an h2 with the class text center. This is a bootstrap class, and I will write what makes us different. Now after this I'll have two paragraph. So in the first paragraph, let me copy this text, and again I'm going to create another paragraph, and again copy this text. So we have written the markup. Now let's style it. So in the style.css file, after the hero section, I'm going to create a comment, about section, and in here first I'm going to target the about class. This is the container, this one, which holds the about content, and I'm going to set a margin top. I'm going to give it a negative margin to move the container up. See, it moved up. After this I'm going to target the about content, and I'll add a background. Here I'll add the linear gradient, So the direction of this linear gradient will be from 135 degree, and here I'll use var the blue color and var the pink color. So let's see. So we have that gradient. Now let's style the paragraph. So I have that wrapper class, so wrap. So first I'm going to set a margin top 40 pixel and padding 30 pixel, and I'll target the paragraph, and I'm going to target the H2. I'll change the color to white. Then I'm going to target the H2 again, and I'll add a margin bottom 20 pixel. So let's see. So we have the about section. So now let's work on the service section. So back in the index.html file, after the about section, I'm going to create one more section with the ID, service ID, and class service class. Inside this section, I'll create a container. Inside this, I'm going to create a row. Then I'm again going to create call LG6 because I want 2 column equal width, and I'm going to add a custom class service content. Now inside this div, I'll have an H2. I'll write what we do, and I'm going to give it a class margin bottom 4. This is a bootstrap class which I'm adding. After this, I'm going to create paragraph. Let me copy the text from here, this one, paste it here. Again, I'm going to duplicate this one more time. So just press Option, Shift and down arrow. After this paragraph, I'm going to create a div in which I'll place the call to action button. So I'll create an empty div, and in here I'll create an anchor tag, and the href will go nowhere, so pound. I'll give it a class. I'm going to style it like a button, so I'll use bootstrap classes. So btn primary, and I'll add a margin top 3, and for the content, learn more. So let's save this and see. So we have this. I need to add the margin top, the utility class that we have created, the margin top 100 pixel to our section. So in here I'm going to add the class margin top 100. So this will add 100 pixel margin. Let me remove the paragraph, we don't need this. So now I'm going to make the cards. So inside this row, but right after this call LG6, this div, I'm going to create another div with class call LG6, and I'm going to give it a custom class service show. Now inside this div, I'll create a row, and then I'm going to create a call LG6. Now inside this div, I'm going to create the card. So this is a bootstrap class card. Here I'll use font awesome icon. So the class is fab fa app store, then iOS. Then I'm going to create the card body. So card body, this will be a div, and in here I'll add a paragraph with class card text, and I will write iPhone app. So let's save this and have a look. So we have the icon and the card. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just copy and paste this a few times. So in the first row, see, in the first row I have 2 cards. So inside this row I'm going to copy this one more time. So let's copy this and paste it here. Let's see. So it's side by side, and again I'm going to create a row after this row. So after this div, I'm going to create one more row. See, both the rows are in this one column. You can create multiple rows inside a column. So I have 2 rows. So this one row and this one. Now inside this I'm going to copy this call LG6, this whole content, and paste it 2 times. So let's see. So we have the 4 cards. So now I'm going to change the text and the icon, and I'm going to do this off screen so that I don't waste your time. So let me change it first and I will be back in a moment. So I have added all the required code. So now this looks something like this. So we have written the markup. Now let's style it. After the about section, I'm going to create a comment for the service section. And in here, I'll target the service show class. And I will write text align center. Let me show you what class I'm talking about. This class, this service show class. This is a div which wraps all the 4 cards. So I'm going to center align the text. After this, I'm going to target the card itself. So service class card. So I'll add a padding 25 pixel and margin bottom 30 pixel. So let's see. We have this padding and the margin. And now I'm going to target the I element. So service class, I'm going to target I. The font size will be 50 pixel. Background is going to be linear gradient. And here I'm going to use the variable var, the pink color, this pink color, and from pink color to black. And then I'll write WebKit background clip property I'm going to use. So background clip, I'll write text, then background clip text, and WebKit text fill color will be transparent. So this much code you need to write in order to have that linear background as the backdrop of that font awesome icon. So we have that background, that gradient background. So now one final thing that I want to do is to vertically align this whole area here. If you see in the final project, this is vertically aligned. So I can achieve this very easily. Just go to this div, service content. So here I'll write deflex. The flex direction will be flex column, and justify content center. So let's see. So now we have this div vertically centered. So this is all about the service section. So after the service section, I'm going to create another section with the class team class, and I'm going to give it a margin top 70 pixel, and I'm also going to give it a custom class bg white for the white background, which I'm going to write. So let's press tab. Now inside this section I'm going to create a container, then row, then I'm going to target the LG large screen device and up, so LG6. So I'll have 2 of these, so I'm going to duplicate it one more time. So inside the first one, I'll create a div with a class box, and I'll add an image. So it will be assets, image, and bg2. And also I'm going to give it a class img fluid. Now inside this div, I'll create an h2 with the class margin bottom 4, and I will write motivated team. After this, I'll create a paragraph, and let me copy the text from here. I'll just copy the text, and I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to duplicate it one more time. So this is the markup. Now let's style it. So after the service section, begin a comment. Let's say team section. Now here first I'm going to target the bg white class that we have given. So team class bg white. See this one bg white for the background color. Since the body has a different color, I'm going to set the background for this section to be white. So hash FFF. Now after this, I'm going to add a padding to this section. So I'll add a class here, team content, and I'm going to copy this class and then target it, then add a padding all around 15 pixel. So let's see. So we have the white background, if you can see, and the padding 15 pixel. After this, I'll work on the box. See here, I have created a div and given it a class box. So I'm going to add that overlay, the gradient overlay. So I'll target the box. Let me do this. So team class box, and I will use the before pseudo element. So before content will be nothing, height will be 100%, width will be 100%, top is going to be minus 20 pixel, left is going to be minus 20 pixel, and then I'll set the background to linear gradient, and here I will change the degree 135 degree, and then for the color var from blue color to var pink color. But first I need to add a position value. So here I'll set position absolute, and I also need to set the position on the box itself to be relative, so that the before element moves in accordance with this box. And I want to place this before element at the back of the image, so I'll set the z index value to be -1. Now after this, I need to set the z index for the team class. So team class z index 3, and I'm also going to give it a padding of 100 pixel, and then I'm going to target the image. So team class img, and I will set the z index to 2, and finally I'm going to change the z index of the box to 1. So now let's save this and see. So we have the background overlay, but here I need to center it vertically, this right content. So I can use the flexbox method. So in here I'm going to add some classes. So first deflex, flex column, and justify content center. So let's save this. So now it's moved to the center. So this is the team section. Now let's create the project section. So after the team, we have the project section. So after the team section, let's create a new section. Here I'm going to create a new section with an ID, project ID, and a class project class. And I'm also going to give it a class, the margin top 100. This is a utility class which adds margin top 100 pixel. Now inside this section, I first create a container. Inside the container, I'm going to create a row. Then I'm going to create a call. This will span across the entire width of the viewport. And in here, I'll add an h2 and write projects. I'm also going to give it a class margin bottom 5. Now outside this row, I'm going to create one more row which will have the cards. So in here, I'm going to create 4 cards. So first call LG3. So first div is of call LG3 4 times, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So because we have 4 cards and each will span 3 column. Now inside the first div, I'm going to create a div with a class card. This is a bootstrap class. Now I'm going to use a font or some icon. So I with the class FAS, then FA mobile ALT. Then I'm going to create a div with a class card body, and inside this I'm going to create an h2 with the class card text, and then here I'll write mobile apps. After this, I'll create a paragraph with the class card text, and I'm going to copy the content from here, and let's paste this. So let's see how it looks like. So this is one card. So now I'm going to copy this card and paste it inside all the 3 divs. So just copy it, paste it here, and I'm going to change the content and the icon. So I'm going to skip this part, and I'll see you in a bit. So now I have added all the content. For the second one, I changed the icon to FAR FA light bulb. Third one, FAB Angular, and for the fourth one, WordPress. So now we have written the markup for the project section. It's time to style it. So go to style.css, and after the theme section, begin a comment. So project section. So first I'm going to target the I element. So project class I. In here I'm going to set the font size to 50 pixel. Background will be linear gradient. var this pink color and to black color. Then I'm going to use the background clip property. WebKit background clip text, then background clip is going to be text, then WebKit text fill color is going to be transparent, and I'm going to set a margin. So margin top and bottom top 20 pixel, right 0, left 5 pixel, bottom 5 pixel, and left is going to be 20 pixel. So let's see. So we have the gradient overlay. So in here I don't want this padding, this default bootstrap padding. If you inspect this, we have this padding, so I don't want this. I'm going to remove this. So project call LG3, I'm going to remove the padding to 0. So now let's see. Project, I need to add the class. So as you can see that there is no padding, but I want some padding, so I'm going to target the card itself. So project class dot card, and I'm going to add margin right. I'm not going to add padding. I'm going to write margin right 10 pixel. So let's see. So we have some margin. So this is the project section. Now let's make the contact section. So let's make the contact section. So after the project section, I'm going to create a new section with ID, contact ID, and class contact class, and also I'm going to give it a class empty 100, so to add 100 pixel margin top. Now inside this I'm going to create a div with a class container fluid, because I want this div to span across the entire width of the viewport. So Bootstrap support 2 types of container. One is with the container class and one with the container fluid class. So inside this I'm going to create a row, then I'm going to create a call, and I'll give it a class bg contact. Now this one will have the overlay of that map. Now after this I'm going to create a container again. So this is a fluid container, and after this I'm creating the container. This is not a fluid container. Now inside this container, first let me give it a class. So contact content. Now in here I'm going to create a row, and I'll specify a class no gutters. Let me first remove this, and I will show you why I need to add this. So now inside this row I'll create a div with class call lg8 and a div with class call lg4. So in total they make up the 12 column grid. Now inside the call lg8 I'm going to create a form. So first I'll write form. I'm going to remove the action since it is not going anywhere or posting the form data. Now I'll create a div with a class form group. This is a Bootstrap class. Now inside this I will use an input. So type will be text. I'll give it a class form control. This is a Bootstrap class, and I'll add a placeholder name. Now similarly I'm going to create different form elements. So I'm just going to copy this one more time, paste it here, change the text to email, and the placeholder will be email. Again I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to change the placeholder to subject. And after this I'm going to create a div with a class form group, and inside this div I'm going to create a text area for the content. So text area, the class will be form control. So here I'm going to remove the ID and the column, and for the row I'm going to give it a value 5, and I'll add a placeholder. This will be message. And finally I'm going to add the button. So button, I'll set the type to submit, and I'll style it. So class btn primary, and for the content I'll write submit. So this is the left side of the contact section. We have the form. So let's see. So we have this form on the left side. Now let's create this right side. So I'm going to go inside this div, and in here first I'm going to add a class to it. So contact addr, and first I'm going to create a h2. So contact us, not is. Then I'm going to create a paragraph, and I'm going to copy the text from here. So paste it. Again I'm going to create a paragraph. I'll copy the phone number, paste it here, but I need to add a break. So I'll add a break using the br tag. Then again I'm going to create a paragraph, and I'll copy this mobile number, and I'm going to insert the break. So let's see. So now I'm going to finally add the icons. So after this paragraph I'm going to create a div with a class social icon, and inside this I'm going to use the code for Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn. So I'll write the corresponding code. So I FAB FA Facebook F, and I FAB FA Twitter, and I FAB FA LinkedIn -in. So let's see. So Facebook is not showing. Let me check. So we have the icons. So this is the markup for the contact section. Now let's style it. So open up style.css, and after the project write a comment contact section. Now in here first I'm going to target the bg contact class. So we have the class contact class, then bg contact, and here I'll set the height to 40 vh, viewport height, width will be 100%, background I'm going to set it to a linear gradient, RGBA value 74 118 237 0.8. Again I'm going to copy this, write a comma, and then paste it, and then place a comma after this and write URL. So here I'm adding that map image. So dot asset images, then map.png. Then I'll set the background. Wait, there's a problem. I need to remove this parenthesis, this one. So now it's okay. So background position will be 200 and background size will be cover, and background repeat will be no repeat. So now I'm going to add a negative margin to this contact content, this entire div, to move it up. So after this I'll target it. So contact content and margin top minus 20 VH. So let's see how it looks like. So this entire section is pulled up. So after this I'm going to style the form. So I'll target the form. So contact class, then form. I'm going to give it a background color of white, and I'm going to set padding 100 pixel. Then I'm going to target the contact ADDR class, this one, contact ADDR class, and I'm going to add a background linear gradient. The angle will be 135 degree, var from blue color to pink color, then padding 90 pixel and color will be white. Now after this I'm going to target the paragraph inside this contact ADDR. So I can do this. Now here I'll set the paragraph color to white and the margin top and bottom 20 pixel and right and left 0 pixel. And after that I'm going to target the social icon. So contact class dot social icon, and here I'm going to use display table cell. Font size I'm going to set it to 20 pixel and the width will be 1%. So let's see. Oh, I have failed to add the display table to the social icon div. So let me add that. So contact class dot social icon, and here I'll set the display to table. So let's save. So now it's right. So here you can see that we have this gutter. So I want to remove this. I don't want this gutter. So I can simply add a no gutter class to this row. So I'll write no gutters. Let's save this. So now see, the gutter is removed. And finally we need to work on the footer. So to create the footer, we are going to use the footer element, which is new in HTML5, and inside this I'll have a paragraph, and I will write ampersand copy, then 2020 Silicon Tech, all rights reserved. So now let's see. So right now it looks like this. Now I'm going to style it. So in the CSS file, after the contact section, begin a comment and write footer. Then I'll target the footer. So here I'll set the height to 80 pixel and line height to 80 pixels. So this will vertically center whatever content is inside the footer. And I'll set the text align property to center, and I'll set the background to #0C003E. Now I'm going to target the paragraph, so footer paragraph, and change the color to white. Here I made a mistake. I need to add pixel, and also I'm going to give the entire footer section a class margin top 100. So now let's see. So we have the footer. So now that we have created the desktop version of the web page, it's time to add some media queries. So we are using Bootstrap. We don't need to add much, but we need to customize how our headings and some margin work. So let's add those media queries. So I'm going to write at media, and I'm going to target for the small screen device. So max width will be 575.98 pixel. Now inside this, whatever I write will get applied to the mobile screen. So first I'm going to change the H1. So here I'll change the font size to 1.5 rem, and then I'll change the font weight to 900. Now let's see. So if I inspect the page, right click and click inspect, and let's see the page in iPhone. So I'm going to increase the zoom level to 100%. So right now it looks like this. So now I'm going to target the H2, and here I'll change the font size to 1.2 rem and a font weight to 700. So after this I'm going to target the about class. So here we have that negative margin which I'm going to remove, so margin top will be 0. So let's see. So now the showcase area spans across the entire height of the mobile screen. Now let's target the service. So service class, and in here I'll just use text align center. So after this I'm going to target the service content class. Let me show you this class, service content, and here I'm going to change the margin bottom to 50 pixel. So let's see, the text is aligned to the center. Now let's work on the team section. So I'll select the team class, and in here I'll first add text align center and padding 0 pixel. Then I'm going to target the H2 inside the team class, text align center. Then I'm going to target team class and team content, and in here I'm going to set the margin top to 50 pixel. So let's see. So we have the team section. Now let's work on the project section. Here I'll target the project class, text align center. Then I'm going to target the cards inside the project. So first margin, I'm going to remove the margin right. So margin right will be 0, and margin bottom will be 30 pixel. Then I'm going to target the call LG3 class inside the project class, and I'm going to set the padding to 15 pixel. So let's see. So we have the project section. Now let's work on the contact section. So I'll target the contact class and set the text align to center. Then I'm going to target the form inside the contact class, so form, and I'll set the padding to 40 pixel. And then I'm going to target the contact ADDR class, so contact ADDR class. Here I'll set the padding to 40 pixel, and text align will be center. So let's see. So we have the form styled. Now let's style the footer. So I'll target the footer. I'll set the height to 80 pixel and the line height will be 80 pixel. So let's save this, and now see. So this is the mobile version. See, if I click on this hamburger icon, the menu pops up. So now that we have completed the mobile version of the website, let's work on to add the particles and the scrolling effect to our page. So here first I'm going to add the scroll spy. So to add the scroll spy, you need to add some attribute to the body element. So first attribute is data spy, and here I'll write scroll. Then the next attribute is data target, and here I'm going to target the navbar, and then you have to specify one more property or attribute. So data offset equal 200. So let's save this. And now when we scroll down, we need to add that border. So in the style.css file, what I'm going to do is right here I'm going to add nav So when we add the sticky add class, then I'm going to target the active class. Then here I'm going to add a border bottom. So border bottom 1.5 pixel solid RGBA 0.0.0.0.7. So some opacity. So let's see. So if I scroll down, you see the border. So it's not working right now because we need to change the ID. So right in the index.html file, we need to change the ID. So the first ID is home, which is right. The second ID is about. So about ID, we need to change it. So about ID, likewise service ID, project ID, and contact ID. Let's see now. So if I move down, see the scroll spy is working. The border moves to the respective link when that particular section is in view. So now let's add that smooth scrolling effect. So open up app.js file, and inside this function I'm going to write, so $, I'm going to select the nav bar, nav, then a href, then caret symbol, the caret sign, equal for all hash value. So when any link with hash value on click, I'm going to add a click event listener. Then I'm going to assign a callback, so function, and I pass the event object. And in here, first I'm going to set the prevent default options. So prevent default. Then I'm going to target the HTML and body. So HTML body, sorry, I need to place a comma here, and I'll use the animate function of jQuery. So animate, and in here I'm going to animate the scroll top. So I'll write $, this dot hash offset, and I'll move it to top, and this I want to take place in 1 second. So I'll write 1000 millisecond. So now let's see what happens. If I click on any link, it will take me to that section. So this is the smooth scrolling effect. Now let's add the particle effect to our page. So open up Chrome and search for particle.js. This is the link that you need to go to, vincentgarriou.com. Click here. In here you can customize these particle by changing some option here, but I'm going to go with the default one. You can also play with the different options. So if you change it to NASA, the particle changes, bubble, but here I'm going to go with the default one. Now click on this button, download current config JSON file, and also click on this download link. So once the download is complete, let's add it to the project. So I have added the JSON file in the JS folder, and after this you need to add the particle.js file, or you can also go with the particle.min.js. So let's go with this particle.js file and drop it in the JS folder. Now first you need to link it up. So right at the very bottom where you have added the script, here I'm going to add the particle.js file. So script source, in the JS folder I have that, so particle.js file. So after this I'm going to add a div in which I want to show the particle effect. So inside, so let me go to the main section here, this main, where the main section start, and right after this I'm going to create a div with a class particle-js. So this is what you need to do, and then you need to go to the app.js file to load it. So after this I'm going to load the particles. So I'll write particles js dot load particles-js, and in here I need to specify the JSON file name. So I'll right click, rename, I'll copy it and paste it here. So config.json. but this is inside the JS folder, so I need to add that. But right now you won't be able to see the particle because we need to set the height and width of the div which holds the particle. Go to style.css, and in here I'm going to target the particle div. So I'll write particle -js. I'll set the height to 100 vh, width to 100%, and the background color I'm going to set RGBA value 255 and 0.1, and I'll set position absolute. So let's save this and look why it's not showing. Here we need to change the class to an ID. So I'll change the class to an ID, and in the style.css I'm going to change this to an ID. Now let's see. So we have the particles. So this way we add the particle to a project, and now finally I'm going to add the animate on scroll effect to our page. So search on Google AOS. So this is the library that we are going to use. Click here and click on this GitHub icon, and now I'm going to use the CDN version of it. So I'm going to copy this link and go inside our project, and in the index.html file I'm going to paste it in the link in the head section. So we have added the AOS library. So now in order to animate using this library, we need to set some data attributes. So in the showcase section, in the hero section, I'm going to use this library. So in the h1 I'm going to set some attributes. So data AOS will be fade up, fade-up, and the next attribute that I'm going to use is data AOS duration. So this will be 1000. So it is in milliseconds, so 1000 is 1 second. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. Similarly, I'm going to go in the about section, and in this div I'm going to paste it. Again I'm going to paste it here in the second call LG6. Now let's go to the service section, and in here I'm going to paste it in the call LG6, this entire div, and here also I'm going to paste it. Then in the team section, here in this div I'm going to paste it, and here also. Now again in the project section I'm going to paste it here. Again I'm going to paste it here. Again I'm going to paste it in this row. Then I will go to the contact section. Here I'm going to paste it in this div and in this div. So now let's save, but we need to initiate it first. So go to app.js file, and in here let's write a comment, animate on scroll. You just need to write aos.init. So now let's go to the web page. So if I scroll down, here I did a stupid mistake. I forgot to link the script file. So just copy the script in the index, and right below the particle file I'm going to paste it. So now let's save. So you can see that the animation is now working. So when I scroll down, the animation is working. So there are many different options. You can customize this library. You have fading option, you have fade down, fade from the right. You just need to change the data attribute. Here I have used fade up. So you can explore this library, and this animate on scroll library also work on the mobile version. See, it's working perfectly. So we have completed this project, and if you learn something from it, please give it a like, and also do subscribe to my channel. So stay tuned, and I will see you soon. Thank you.